SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Gateway Rescue Mission, meeting the physical and spiritual needs of the homeless right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Check us out at www.gatewaymission.org.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now,
who knew that 23 could feel balmy, but on the heels of 14 when you walk outside the previous morning, 23, hey, get the short pants out and somebody light up the grill. We'll do some hot dogs and have a little party by the pool today. A little bit warmer, going to be a little bit warmer all across Mississippi. Good morning. Good morning to you today, Tuesday, December 16th, 2025, T-minus 9 days until Christmas, 15 days left in this calendar year, 4 days until a college football playoff game in Oxford. When's your birthday, Lance?
I'm August 16.
Okay, well, I don't know how many days it is till your birthday.
A long ways, thank goodness.
But, just in the event that you had said, hey, it's December 21st, I was going to be like, 5 days till Lance's birthday.
My mother's is on the 10th, so we had that. And then I met someone in a drive-thru the other day, and I said, hey, are you ready for Christmas and everything? The little girl, she was so sweet. She goes, well, my birthday's on the 23rd. I was like, oh, man, you're one of those that gets super gypped at Christmas, don't you? And,
either super gypped or super spoiled.
Yeah, super spoiled, one or the other, so. But, yeah, I've always had a lot of respect for those that have the birthday so close to Christmas, because my mother was one of those, and she always laughed about it as a kid, kind of getting doubled down on there. But this is your Christmas and birthday.
Can you imagine if your birthday was on Christmas Day?
No.
Like, it's bad enough just being, within a week, one way or the other. But Christmas Day, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
That'd be tough. Brothers and sisters always, why does he get more presents than I do?
It's always about present count.
Yeah, as if that's what it's about. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. C-Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. Give your business the edge with gigabit fiber internet from C-Spire. It makes businesses go all over the place, all over Mississippi, all over the Southeast. Learn more at cspire.com. C-Spire, inspired by you. Thanks for joining us today. Well, a lot to get to this morning. All right, we're going to talk about a health topic in the 7 o'clock hour that I think it may be new to a lot of us. Barry Bertolet's going to join us. He's the president of the Mississippi chapter of the American College of Cardiology, and a Mississippian living with a heart condition that is a little atypical. And the wild ride that has been for her to try and get the medicine that she needs to deal with this particular condition, to get it paid for by insurance, to get the medicine that she needs so that she can be healthy. We'll talk with them about that. Also, Leah Long will join us later this morning from the National Federation of Independent Small Business. She covers Mississippi and Louisiana. Leah, a longtime guest, no pun intended, on Mornings with Richard Cross. Lance, today in Senatobia, high of 54. Going to be sunny. A few clouds this afternoon with a south wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and so the warm-up begins.
Somebody's going to be playing golf today.
Somebody will be. I don't think that somebody's going to be me, but somebody will be. Sunny in Columbus today. Some afternoon clouds. 56 for your high. Winds out of the south, southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Intervals of clouds and sunshine this morning with more clouds this afternoon in Vicksburg. Knocking on 57's door with light and variable winds. And a little farther south still, D'Iberville. Partly cloudy, 62 degrees. Winds out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's look at some birthdays. Folks that were born on this day, some things that have happened on this day in history. A little light on the birthdays. What do you think the Christmas/birthday celebration was like for Ludwig van Beethoven? Born on this day in 1770. Beethoven, the German composer, born in Bonn, Electorate of Cologne. Beautiful city of Cologne, Germany. Suppose his Fifth Symphony is his most famous, and of course, Ode to Joy, which is what every wedding you've ever been to, you've heard it. I'm curious when the Cathedral of. I spent an afternoon in Cologne. I was in Europe years and years ago, and we were staying in Belgium. Verviers, Belgium. It was like 2 hours from Brussels. And man, there was just a quick train ride, like a 30, 45-minute train ride across the border into Germany. And there was a group of us that went and kind of hung out in Cologne one afternoon. And I had already seen/been to Notre Dame on that trip. And Notre Dame was unbelievable. But it felt incredibly touristy. Like you walked in and it was warm, and they had the little machines in the back. Maybe I'm making this up. I don't think I am, but I think I'm not making this up. But whatever the French equivalent was in terms of coins, you drop a coin in the machine and then you put 50 cents in, and it like flattens the first coin out and makes the little imprint on the coin. You've seen those before?
Yeah, like putting a penny on the railroad track or something. But
yeah.
But they'll make the imprint on. I think they do one of those at the Cathedral in New Orleans.
Yeah. It was that type of deal at Notre Dame. And then I went to the Cathedral in Cologne. Man.
Amazing.
Oh.
It took them.
And when you stepped inside, it was like the temperature dropped 20 or 30 degrees. Like, I mean, it felt gothic.
It took them
inside.
500 years to build it.
You see a picture of it?
I know a little bit about it, but I mean, I do know it. It was when they started. I've seen many pictures, but it was like 1250 or something. It was started in mid 1800s. It got completed when they said, we'll fund this thing." But man, what an amazing cathedral! And Europe's full of them. But that's one of the great stories there. For about almost 600 years, it took them to complete the entire building, I believe.
Yeah, you look at a picture of it, and I think you can understand why. So anyway, I was just trying to figure out if Beethoven ever went there.
You'd have to believe he would.
You would think. You would think. Jane Austen was born on this day in 1775. The English novelist, author of Pride and Prejudice, born in Steventon, England. Arthur C. Clarke, born in 1917, science fiction author. You familiar with the book 2001, A Space Odyssey? Yes, that is actually a book. It is not just the theme song for South Carolina to run on the football field, or if you want to go back to the mid and late 80s and early 90s with me, the theme song from Saturday Morning Wrestling in Memphis. Somebody got that reference.
Isn't that the one with Hal in it?
What?
The movie is Space Odyssey.
Oh,
Stanley Kubrick's version of it, I think.
I'm not a big sci-fi guy. But I recognize the significance of Arthur Clarke. And then Kristen Ritter, American actress. She was in Jessica Jones, Veronica Mars, model as well, born in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Had some fun with Frances last night, was kind of working on this, and I told her that in her young 8 years on life, she really hadn't accomplished that much compared to King Henry VI of England. She kind of looked at me sideways. I said, Franny, at the age of 7, he was crowned King of France at Notre Dame in Paris after becoming the only English monarch to wear both crowns. I told her, I said, at age 7, he was the King of England and the King of France. Jane kind of piped in. She goes, well, that'd be a lot for an 8-year-old. Franny goes, not for me. Okay.
Got this covered.
There we go. This day in 1773, December 16th, 1773, they had a party in Boston. They called it the Boston Tea Party. Sons of Liberty protesters threw shipments of tea into Boston Harbor to protest the British-imposed Tea Act, and they escalated the taxation without representation fight in the British Parliament. Just getting started with you. Hope your Tuesday is off to a good start. Plenty more coming up. We're back right after this. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Daddy got him, brother got him, friend got him, I got him. I woke up this morning, we had them Statesboro blues. I looked over in the corner, Grandma and Grandpa had them too.
From the Venable.
What's going on?
Mornings with Richard Cross.
It is what it is.
Yes, it is.
Super Talk, Mississippi.
Well, I ain't superstitious, but a black cat is crossing my trail. Well, I ain't superstitious, black cat is crossing my trail.
Good morning. Mornings with Richard Cross with you, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Streaming online, SuperTalk TV, supertalk.fm. Show's available as a podcast. If you miss anything and you want to go back and listen, you can always do that. You can carry MRC with you and listen at your convenience. Show's presented every day by Community Bank, rooted in our community, communitybank.net. Today in 1930, Bobby Jones, the professional golfer, no, actually not true. The amateur golfer, the career amateur golfer, the greatest amateur golfer of all time. The first to win the James E. Sullivan Award for the best U.S. amateur athlete. Today in 1946, the French fashion designer Christian Dior, along with his backer Marcel Boussac, founded the fashion house Christian Dior, still rolling today. We know about Shirley Temple's movies as a young girl, a true star in Hollywood. On this day in 1950, at the age of 22, she announced her retirement from films. 60 years later, Larry King signed off the air. December 16th, 2010, the final episode of the TV talk show Larry King Live aired on CNN. It was on this day in 2016 that the United States State Department increased its reward for information on the number one terrorist on the planet at the time, Islamic State leader, ISIS leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. They pushed the reward for information leading to his kill or capture up to $25 million. It was still almost 3 more years before the United States, what was it Trump said? Our dogs chased him down the tunnel, crying and whining. And 2019, Bruce set a new touchdown record, breaking Peyton Manning's mark of 539 for career touchdown passes as the Saints smoked the Indianapolis Colts. It was a special day for Drew Brees. He didn't just break the record, he did it in style. 29 of 30, 97%, 307 yards and 4 touchdowns in the win.
That was a machine.
Mm-hmm. How about this one, Lance? Also on this day in 2019, Mariah Carey's single "All I Want for Christmas Is You" reached number 1 on the charts 25 years after its release. Mariah Carey makes an estimated $2.5 to $3 million annually from her hit Christmas song. The song's 2 billion Spotify streams alone generates $1 million in royalties. Additional revenue comes from merchandising, holiday specials like the ones that you might watch on Netflix, and live performances. By 2023, so I guess 23 years after it was released. Let's see.
That's amazing, honestly.
By 2023, the song had reportedly earned over $100 million in total royalties. It's the best-selling digital sale of all time, certified diamond, and has been number 1 on the music charts in 26 countries.
And one thing, I don't want to interrupt, but you think it feels like that song has been around for the one she sang for much longer than 2019 with the reach that it has. It's like the Mandela.
No. That was 2019 was 25 years after it was
that's
released.
what I was like, no way, that was just 2019.
No,
I was
that's
getting
the crazy
confused there.
thing.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
In 2019, 25 years after it was released, it went to number 1 for the first time.
Yeah, I was getting confused there. But that's even crazier, isn't it? I mean, it took that long for that song to get the respect that it deserves.
You hear that very beginning of that little chime.
I love it, man. It's a great song.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that don't, but bah humbug to you.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
bah humbug.
It's the time of year you just embrace it all for like 30 days, and then it's gone, man. You have no reason to get all upset.
Big news for Laurel. Some news headlines for you this morning. Poultry processor Amick Farms is expanding operations at its Laurel facility through a $74.5 million corporate investment. Amick Farms is headquartered in South Carolina. They purchased their Laurel production facility in 2021, so about 4 years ago. The expansion slated to increase processing capacity from 800,000 to approximately 1.1 million heads per week, and going to create nearly 200 jobs over the next 3 years. Project being supported by MDA through the Mississippi Flexible Tax Incentive. They're also assisting with infrastructure improvements. Jones County's Economic Development Authority assisting as well. Amick's expansion is another example of Mississippi's transformation into one of the business-friendliest states in the U.S. $41 billion in economic development commitments since 2020 in the state of Mississippi.
Man, chickens is big business.
Yes, they are.
Our president of our camp he's a manager of a plant and was in North Carolina for a while, came back, and just listening to some of the stories, I mean, those places are fascinating. I've got an invite to go check one out. I've never been actually on the floor of a processing plant. I've seen some stuff, but I'd love to see that operation. Can you imagine just from chicken to product, how it gets to you? I love that kind of stuff. But man, big business here. That's a great investment.
We had some friends over for dinner on Friday night, kind of an early Christmas celebration. My son's best friend, Bo, we're sitting at the dinner table, and he says, "Hey, Lance, why did the chicken cross the road?"
I don't know.
Because.
So, I grew up with a mamaw that had the hatchet ready to go to get the chicken, so I want to see it full circle, like where we are now,
I got to tell you, Bo's comedic timing and his dry wit is off the charts.
Because
it was really good.
I love it.
When you've got a 12-year-old telling dad jokes.
Oh, they're the best, yeah.
with the perfect delivery, it's good.
Got to have timing, right?
A Yazoo Herald report said there is a state of emergency that has been declared in Yazoo City due to a shortage of police officers. The declaration was accepted by the board of mayor and aldermen during the November board meeting. The measure noted that the city is operating under, quote, conditions of extreme peril, close quote, as patrol staffing has diminished. The Yazoo Police Department is working to address the shortage. Yazoo County Sheriff's Office stepping in to bear some of the load. By the way, if your sheriff's name is Bull, you better get in line. Yazoo County Sheriff Jeremy Bull McCoy said, as your sheriff, along with my entire staff, I'm committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of all residents. We recognize that crime is at an all-time high, and we want you to know that we will be present and proactive as often as possible to provide the best law enforcement services we can, whether you reside within the city limits or in the county. Sheriff Bull McCoy. How would you like to be in charge of the campaign posters for Sheriff McCoy? I mean, there's like a play on grab the bull by the horns, or
you guys
don't mess with the bull, or, a matador.
You got gold there, man. That's easy.
McCoy added that residents need to report any tips or information related to criminal activity to aid his office in curbing crime. He said, your cooperation is vital in helping us keep our community safe. This is not a time to fear, but a time to come together. Pretty scary time when the police chief goes to the mayor and the board of aldermen and says, hey, we need to declare a state of emergency. This whole hiring officers thing has got to be priority number one. Got your morning sports update coming on the other side of this timeout. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
I can't swim and I can't fly. I ain't no fish, I ain't no bird in the sky. I can't tell if the sun's gonna shine, and I don't know if you ever be mine. I'll make love to you any old time.
From the Seabrook.com
Podcasts with Richard Cross.
Wake up.
Let's do it!
Wake up.
Come on!
All right.
Super Talk, Mississippi.
Wake up!
Going through some news headlines with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank, rooted in our community, communitybank.net. And this story out of Australia, from we didn't get to this yesterday, from the weekend, is just horrific. In Melbourne at Bondi Beach, a Hanukkah celebration happening. I'm sorry, it was in Sydney. Mass shooting in which 15 people were killed. According to Australia's federal police commissioner, it was a terrorist attack inspired by Islamic State. We said it was, on this day in 2016 when the award for information leading to the capture or kill of Baghdadi went to $25 million. His legacy lives on. The suspects were a father and a son, aged 50 and aged 24. The older man Sajid Akram was shot dead, his son being treated at a hospital. 25 people still being treated in hospitals after Sunday's massacre, 10 of them in critical condition. 3 of them are patients in a children's hospital. One among those, Ahmed Al-Ahmed. He perhaps is the one that you have seen the video of, captured tackling and disarming one assailant before pointing the man's weapon at him and then setting it on the ground. Which that was some pretty good trigger discipline, by the way. The dead range from 10 to 87 years old. They were on a beach, the most famous beach in Australia, celebrating Hanukkah on a Sunday evening, when they were attacked by a pair of wannabe ISIS thugs. Now, of course, the reaction to Australia from Australian leaders, Albanese and leaders of some of Australia's states have pledged to tighten the country's already strict gun laws in what would be the most sweeping reforms since a shooter killed 35 people in Tasmania in 1996. Mass shootings in Australia have been rare. The issue is not the guns, Australia. It's not. It's the same issue that exists all over the world. It's the reason. When we have success with something, it loses steam and it stops gaining headlines because we get bored. And our attention span is that of a gnat. Like, as a people. There is nothing more significant than what Donald Trump has done with the border in the first year of his second term in office. The world has an immigration problem, especially when it relates to Islamists. I saw somebody posted online, you think when you call someone Islamophobic, you're hurting them. He goes, we're not hurt anymore. It's everywhere. These people believe that Islam is the one and only true religion, that their mission is to indoctrinate everyone. They intimidate, and they have a goal of taking over. And the extreme piece of the Islamic State, ISIS, is not going away. And prior to this administration coming in and shutting down the border, yes, we had a problem with illegals of Central American descent. But we also had problems with Middle Eastern immigration coming into the country, not just from the southern border, but from the northern border as well. Just awful stuff. And we're talking about Australia. We're talking about Australia. Lance sent me this post from X. The attack in Nice, Muslim. The Paris attacks, Muslim. The shoe bomber, Muslim. The Orlando attack, Muslim. The Beltway snipers, Muslim. The Fort Hood shooter, Muslim. The underwear bomber, Muslim. And that is, I'm kind of done putting qualifiers on it. Not all who practice Islam are evil. That is not what I'm saying. And in the United States, you have a freedom to practice your religious beliefs. But we've been told over and over and over and over and over by those who practice Islam, especially in big cities, that they're here to take over. It's happening in Minnesota. That's not surprising. If you are not paying attention to what is happening in the state of Texas, you better perk up and listen and look. Thankfully, some of the leaders in Texas are paying attention. There are entire cities that are being built that are specifically for Muslims and only. Let's do your morning sports update. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com. Pearl River Resort, the home of casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. And the presenting sponsor of our college football playoff coverage coming up Thursday and Friday from the Library Sports Bar in Oxford. Sports Talk Mississippi will be there. Got some great guests that are going to be there as well. We'll break down the action, break down the game and the games for the opening weekend of the college football playoff on Sports Talk Mississippi. Thursday and Friday coverage presented by Pearl River Resort. Got a bunch of basketball games tonight happening in the SEC. Top 20 matchup in Knoxville. Number 11, Louisville, and number 20, Tennessee. Tip-off tonight at 6 on ESPN. Kansas City is at Oklahoma. That's on the SEC Network at 6. At 6 also on ESPN2. The battle for the Palmetto State, South Carolina and Clemson. Mississippi State back in action tonight. They evened their season record at 5-5 with the win over Utah, coming from behind on Saturday night. Now a chance to go over 500, hosting Long Island University. 6:30 tip-off, game being streamed on the SEC Network Plus. Lemoyne is at Texas, and Queens University is at Arkansas. That's at 8 tonight on the SEC Network. Ole Miss back in action tomorrow night when they host Alabama A&M at 7. So that's some of what's happening on the hardwood. News out of Southwest Mississippi yesterday. Former Ole Miss quarterback Bo Wallace, coming back to Mississippi, has been announced as the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Southwest Mississippi Community College. He joins Les George's staff, took over in November of 2024. Team went 3-6 this past year. Wallace was at Ole Miss from 2012 until 2014 after winning a junior college national championship at East Mississippi Community College. Got into coaching after a short stop in the professional ranks. He was back at East Mississippi in 2017. Has been coaching in high school football in Jackson, Tennessee since 2023. He was the offensive coordinator at USJ, the University School of Jackson. So Bo Wallace coming back to the Magnolia State. Patrick Mahomes went to Dallas for ACL surgery. All reports are that it was successful. They also repaired his LCL while they were doing it, that in the left leg. 9 months expected to be the recovery time. New England Patriots lead the AFC East by a game over the Buffalo Bills. The Steelers are a game in front of the Ravens in the AFC North. In the AFC South, it's a one-game lead for the Jaguars over the Texans. The Denver Broncos at 12-2 have clinched the AFC West. Philadelphia Eagles with a 2.5-game lead over Dallas in the NFC East. The Bears up a game on the Packers in the North. In the South, you got Tampa Bay and Carolina tied for the division lead, and the Rams have clinched a playoff berth in the NFC West. That's your morning sports update presented by Pearl River Resort.
The car, at home, or at work. It's always free to listen to Super Talk Mississippi and Mornings with Richard Cross.
Tuesday morning, December 16th, 2025. Richard Cross, Lance Tolbert, thank you for being with us. Lotto Americano jackpot winner yesterday. Today's jackpot, $9.75 million. Ooh, Lance said it was going to go into the new year. If Lance is right, that number is going to be right here in a couple of weeks. The estimated jackpot for Powerball after no winner last night, $1,250,000,000. So when you get to $1 billion, that decimal and the numbers that follow are pretty significant. That 0.25 that sounds kind of small, when you assign the words 250 million to that 0.25, it gets real. $1.25 billion. The estimated cash value, or the estimated jackpot, the estimated cash value is over $500 million, nearly $600, $572,100,000. With numbers like this, who could have won? 23, 35, 59, 63, 68 last night. The Powerball was 2. Man, Lance, I think those were the numbers from my Saturday ticket. Power play multiplier was 4. $1.25 billion on Wednesday night up for grabs. Get your Powerball tickets at your local lottery retailer. A lot of winners. A Jackson man won $200,000 on a ticket from King's Food Mart on a $10 Triple Red Sevens winner. Man, you're just going about your business on the old scratch-off. You got your nickel or your penny or whatever, and you're rubbing that stuff off that gets all over you on your pants and on your table, and you have to kind of vacuum it up or sweep it up afterward. Honestly, your expectations are not real high. And then you start to uncover something, and you realize you won $200,000 on a single scratch-off? Hoo-wee. I bet that's a fun feeling.
I need some of that fun feeling. Yeah, I'm in.
I mean, $1.25 billion would be nice, but
I think
hey, friend, here's $200,000. It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
I'd be buying stuff with that $200K.
Would you?
Oh yeah, man! I'd go buy me some more land.
There you go.
Good little bank. Use your bank.
Well, you'd probably call David Fisher Land Company to help you with your land search.
I was hoping you'd lead right into that.
DavidFisherLand.com is their website, and man, are the listings good right now. Click on that current listings tab at the top of the webpage, DavidFisherLand.com. You'll see land for sale in Sunflower and Coahoma County, Oktibbeha County, Holmes County, Lafayette County, Arkansas, Friars Point, Mississippi, kind of close to Moon Lake. Tallahatchie County. The one in Holmes County is under contract.
Oh, those big old bucks in Holmes County. Goodness.
Man, that was a cool property, too. And it was priced under $1 million.
Holmes County is one of the gems around here. I don't know how many people realize how beautiful it is and how big the deer get over there, because you got the big Black River running through it. And, man, it is fertile with limestone and those racks, all the big ones. Your records are shot through there, so it's a beautiful place too. Rolling hills and oh man,
that was listed at about $950,000. Let's see, $955 for 250 acres. That's
I wish that they would do with with the lottery, and this is a thought.
It's under $4,000 an acre.
When I was, financial services I did for a bit, but I love the 1031 exchanges and the 1033s, which were an insurance exchange, and allows you to avoid paying your capital gains tax if you roll over. I would love to see us implement something like that with the lottery, personally, where, you don't have to pay taxes up to the certain level that you are if you were to roll over into, say, farmland or income-producing property. 1031 style, where you would take...
Or if you were just to roll it over into more lottery tickets?
Definitely tax exempt there if you just buy up all the lottery tickets.
It's like, I just want $1 billion. I'd like $1 billion worth of Powerball tickets, please.
Man, that would be hilarious, too.
Still got that 365 acres for sale in Humphreys County. Check them out, DavidFisherLand.com. David, Jack, and Travis would love to help you with all your land needs. They've been in the land brokering and financing and listing and selling and buying land for combined 40 years. They're headquartered in Inverness, Mississippi. The website, davidfisherland.com. See if one of the places that they've got listed suits you. That pretty property in Starkville. Mix of recreational and cropland, only 2 miles north of Starkville. Low property taxes, about 100 acres for just over $500,000. That might be a spot to build a dream home. Check it out, davidfisherland.com. 7 o'clock hour is on the way. The news is next. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
'The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Stay social during the show at SuperTalk Mississippi on Facebook. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi and the SuperTalk app.
Seven o'clock hour. It is Tuesday, December the 16th. Welcome, if you're just joining us, to Mornings with Richard Cross. Thanks for listening wherever or however you're listening, whether it's on one of a dozen SuperTalk Mississippi radio stations across the state. Perhaps you're listening online at supertalk.fm or on the go with the SuperTalk Mississippi app, which is free. If you don't have it, be sure to grab it so you can grab SuperTalk anytime on the go. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross is presented by Community Bank. At Community Bank, we're more than just a place to manage your money. We're your neighbors, your partners, and your trusted financial advisors. For decades, we've been rooted in our community, helping families, small businesses, and individuals achieve their dreams. Whether it's opening your very first savings account, planning for a brighter future, or growing your business, we're here every step of the way. We're dedicated to our customers, committed to your success, and always here when you need us. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Member FDIC. C-Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. The holiday deals are still rolling at C-Spire. Ask me how I know. Just last night, got online at cspire.com, logged into our account. It's time for a new phone for Jane. Went in, found the phone we were looking for, popped it in, got to the checkout and realized that there was $700 in savings, plus another $300 for her trade-in, which made the new phone practically free. Not quite, but almost. You can learn more about what C-Spire can do for you. Maybe it's time for a new phone under the tree. Maybe you're just due for an upgrade. You can figure that out easily on their website at cspire.com. C-Spire, customer inspired. This hour of Mornings with Richard Cross is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough if you're struggling with HR, payroll, or other frustrating tasks within the HR realm. You're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They can provide a full range of employer services for you, making your life much, much easier with a customized plan that fits you. Call them today, 601-206-7966, or go online to mwgemployerservices.com. The manhunt continues in Rhode Island for the shooter who killed 2 and wounded 9 others at Brown University on Saturday afternoon. A $50,000 reward has been established by the FBI for information that leads to the identification, arrest, and prosecution of the shooter. The two Brown University students that were killed, Ella Cook and Muhammad Aziz Umarzakov. Ted Dox is the FBI special agent in charge, and he said that the suspect should be considered armed and dangerous. He's asking people in Rhode Island and beyond to review images of the suspect, share them on social media, and come forward with any information that they might have. The photographs are grainy at best. They do not have a clear, easily identifiable picture of the man that they suspect to be the killer. You remember that on, I guess it was Saturday night, early Sunday morning, they apprehended a man and detained him, but ultimately released that person. A new image has been released of the man suspected to be the shooter. We've got images of him walking, and there is one image where he is facing a camera. They have been helped out by residents in the area with security camera footage from homes, Ring doorbells, and yard cameras, and things of that nature. But there's not a whole lot to go on right now. And it has become increasingly frustrating, I suppose, for those who are involved in the investigation, but also those who are covering the investigation. It feels like the Attorney General and the Chief of Police and the Mayor are getting frustrated with some of the questions that are coming. But doggone it, they're questions that need to be asked. And they're questions that need better answers than the ones that local media is getting. And just listen to this clip. So you've got the Rhode Island governor there. You've got the Attorney General there. You've got the mayor there. And you can hear the frustration in the questions that are being asked, but also in the responses that are coming from leaders in Rhode Island.
President Donald Trump has said that Brown University is to blame for this shooting and saying it's the school's problem. Is that a fair criticism, or do you disagree with what the president said?
I don't think it's fair criticism.
Colonel, can you expand on that?
Why not? Because Brown University is not...
All right, it's a little hard to hear. The question was related to something that President Trump said, where he said this is the responsibility of Brown University. It's their problem. Is that a fair criticism? And the governor of Rhode Island said, I don't think it's a fair criticism. Now, the woman that was asking the question said, can you expound on that? But she was cut off by another reporter who was a little more indignant in his follow-up questions.
Collaborating with you guys. You're lying to the press over here. They have facial recognition. We know that because they follow the student, they follow everybody in the neighborhood. Facial recognition. They need to release that data so everybody know who the guy is in the video. We got the video Saturday. Why you guys release the video today?
He says, I think I've answered the question. And it was a fairly combative reporter who was saying, we got video on Saturday. Why are you releasing more video today? They've got facial recognition software. Why is that not being used? You got to assume that the FBI is using all of the resources that are available to it. Facial recognition software, when you've got good, clear pictures, is highly effective. Highly effective. But you don't have good, clear pictures. You've got this guy with a mask on, with a black toboggan, and you see kind of the slit of his eyes and not a whole lot more of his face. There are a lot of people that are questioning the leadership in Rhode Island, and again, I think those are reasonable questions because 2 innocent lives were lost. So what do we know about the two who were killed? Two, according to their friends and their family and people that knew them within the university community, two beautiful young people. Ella Cook, who the Wall Street Journal describes as a math whiz from Alabama with a deep Christian faith, with plans to study next year in Paris. And Muhammad Aziz Umerzakov, the son of doctors from Uzbekistan, with dreams of becoming a neurosurgeon. Uzmerzakov was a first-year student, so he was a freshman. Began his journey to Brown when his parents immigrated to the United States when he was 4 years old. They settled outside of Richmond, Virginia. He had to go and have a brain procedure with a neurosurgeon in New York when he was a young boy, and it went well, and that's when he decided that he wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Ella Cook, I mentioned to you yesterday that I've got a small connection to her family. I know her dad a little bit. Just beautiful people. Wonderful family. She has a younger sister, a younger brother, a brother who's going to be in school on the East Coast next year, and a younger sister who's still in high school. The crazy thing about the young man that was killed, he was in a review session for a class that he wasn't even a part of. Was planning to go to a movie that afternoon. Instead, decided to tag along with a friend to keep them company in the review session. And then a story where the teacher in the review session said that Ella was an incredible young woman who had been active in the class all year long. And he noticed at one point she had a friend that came into the class, and she saw them kind of make eye contact like she was almost going to get up and go sit with her on the other side of the classroom, but decided not to because it would be disruptive. And that decision ultimately cost her her life because the shooter came in from a door on the left at the top of the classroom as she was walking out at the end, and her life came to an end.
From the Venable Glammy.
News, interviews, weather, sports, all right here, all morning long. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Good to be with you this morning. Mornings with Richard Cross. Coming up about 15 minutes from right now, we are going to be joined by Dr. Barry Bertolet. He's president of the Mississippi chapter of the American College of Cardiology, and by Crystal Reed, a Mississippian, lives in Maben, who is living with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. There is a relatively new drug that is available for HCM, but it is not one that is readily available in Mississippi due to red tape tied up with insurance. We're going to explore this issue a little bit more and see what we can learn about it, how many people it's affecting, and what might happen for patients in Mississippi dealing with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Dr. Barry Bertolet and Crystal Reed will be my guests. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Big story yesterday out of Washington, D.C., I guess, but relating to the state of Tennessee. And it has to do with an economic development project in which the government is going to take a significant stake. The Defense Department, or the Department of War, which it has not formally been changed to, but that's how it is discussed now, is getting a 40% stake in a $7.4 billion mineral smelter that is going to be built in Clarksville, Tennessee, in partnership with Korea Zinc. The critical minerals smelting and processing facility could produce 540,000 tons of critical mineral materials in the United States per year. The deal comes as the U.S. is seeking to form critical mineral partnerships that are not dependent on China. I'm not sure that this story got the play that it deserved yesterday in the news, so we're bringing it to you this morning. Reuters said that Korea Zinc will sell new shares of the company worth $1.9 billion to a joint venture controlled by the United States government and U.S.-based strategic investors. The government and investors would then control 10% of Korea Zinc. White House spokesman Kush Desai said in a statement on CNBC yesterday, the United States hasn't built a large-scale zinc smelter like this since the 1970s, a fact that reflects how decades of poor leadership imperiled our national and economic security. Now you have this fact changing thanks to the partnership with Korea Zinc and their investment in Tennessee. Desai said the Trump administration will continue to leverage every tool at our disposal to end America's foreign dependence for critical minerals and restore working-class prosperity. This is not a fast project, and it certainly is not a cheap project. Expected to be online in 2029, so multiple years to get to the end of this. This follows the framework deal that was announced with the United States and Australia back in October to increase rare earth and critical mineral investments between the two countries. As part of that agreement with Australia, the Pentagon agreed to invest in building a gallium refinery in Western Australia. The Pentagon in July became the largest shareholder in the rare earth miner MP Materials after agreeing to buy $400 million of its preferred stock. All of this brings up a pretty interesting question. And that question is, how do you view the United States as an investor? There certainly are detractors to the idea that would say it's not the government's job to pick winners and losers in business. One of the things that we heard from Donald Trump during the time in which he was campaigning in the early days of this particular presidency was about the idea of a sovereign wealth fund. That's something that's common with some of the big oil-producing countries in the Middle East. Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, probably the most famous of all of those. You got the that PIF fund, was it People's Investment Fund? And regardless of how you feel about Saudi Arabia and their history with human rights and Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, Crown Prince, regardless of how you feel about them, I think it's important to understand what they're doing with that investment fund. And the simple answer is they are diversifying their economy. They are trying to become not so dependent on oil production. They are not getting away from oil. It is their cash cow. It is the piece that has allowed them to have the cash to create this massive investment fund. And they're trying to diversify their economic standing. Now, there are problems with Saudi Arabia's public investment fund because in some cases they have thrown money at projects. Somebody told me yesterday I shouldn't say throw money at projects. I should say allocated money. think that was in my conversation yesterday with the lieutenant governor. Describe it however you want to. They've thrown money at projects that are so big in scale that them ever coming completely to fruition seems unlikely. But they have also invested heavily in American technology companies and American real estate. I mean, President Trump, when he made that economic tour to Saudi Arabia and the Middle East several months ago, secured billions and billions and billions of dollars of investment into the United States by the Saudis. And so the question is, how do you feel about the United States as a government taking financial stakes in private companies? I don't know that I have an answer just flat out. Thomas chiming in on the C Spire text line. He said, you're talking about detractors like me. Yeah, but it's not just you, Thomas. There are a lot of people that think that's not the business that the United States government should be in. But is it? If the investments that the United States is making is into companies that not only bring jobs and revenue to the United States, but also create some global independence, is that a problem? C-Spire text line, us making money, why wouldn't it be good? Again, I mean, I think that's a very simple but very relevant question. As much money as the United States has invested around the world with zero return in emerging markets, in programs to help that are humanitarian in nature, reallocating some of that money or taking some of the other money, knowing where we are in terms of debt and deficit on an annual basis to perhaps create some returns for the United States? It's pretty interesting. C-Spire text line, it's interesting watching people who yell about socialism now supporting the government taking large stakes in the means of production, which is classic socialism. We're going to have to come back to this. Up against a break, and got a couple of guests coming in just a second.
Yes, Rudolph did.
I think when you talk about classic socialism and the government investing in companies or owning companies, the part that you're missing there is the whole redistribution of wealth. I mean, I don't think the plan here is for the United States to become a state owner of business. Although you could look at the mineral production scenario and say, well, maybe the United States is. But it's a combination of national security interest and economic interest. Another message on the C-Spire text line, I have no problem with the investment at all. I believe we need to invest, and if the government can create a good return, I'm all for it. Yeah, this isn't about redistributing money from the haves to the have-nots. It's about financial and national security, I think. We're back after this.
From the Seabrook
is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Reaching across the state and across the aisle. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Great to be with you on this Tuesday morning. Today is the 16th of December. I'm happy to welcome our first two guests this morning. We have a couple of Mississippians. Dr. Barry Bertolet joins us this morning. He is the president of the Mississippi chapter of the American College of Cardiology. And Crystal Reed joins us as well. She's from Maben, Mississippi, and is a Mississippi resident who is dealing with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I will readily admit that some of the words that we may use are stretching my rather small brain early this morning, but the good doctor can start us down this road. Crystal, Dr. Bertolet, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Dr. Bertolet, let's start with you. Give us a quick rundown on hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It is a condition, as I understand it, that has to do with the thickening of the walls of the heart muscle. What does that mean, and why is it important for us to be talking about that this morning?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, and thank you for this opportunity. So hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is really when your heart muscle gets to be too thick. And so as your heart contracts, it squeezes, but then it has to relax to allow more blood to fill. And when your heart gets really thick, then it cannot fill with blood to be pumped forward. And that thick heart also causes abnormal heart rhythms. And so when you hear about the football player that drops dead on the football field or the basketball player, this is what they have. And so this is what makes this a big problem. And then this is a genetic disorder.
Okay.
So this is passed on to you by your mom or dad. And so you may not even know that you have that until something bad happens to you. And so that's the bad consequence of this.
Crystal, let's talk about your situation a little bit. A native Mississippian, you are living with HCM, hydrotrophic cardiomyopathy. Give us a little bit of your story.
I have a family that is totally littered with heart disease, and I myself didn't realize I had it until, I started having problems breathing, doing normal everyday chores, raking leaves, swimming, traveling. I had a life, and then I didn't. Because of this, it just took it away. And I started checking it out with all these doctors and found out I had HCM. And I finally found a medication that was going to save my life. And it did. I was on a trial for 18 months, and it was fabulous. I had a life again. And then I didn't, because at the end of the 18 months, Blue Cross Blue Shield refused to pay for it. And so we started scrambling, myself, Ron Haynes, Dr. Bertolet, Dr. Carol, Chris Bell, everybody trying to find a way to get me on this medication somehow, some way, because I had done so well, and it just didn't happen. So for a year and a half, I went without it, and I backed up tremendously, back to where I was, and even worse. And it was just awful. I didn't have life again. It was gone just like that. But should I tell them about the medicine? Yeah. Okay, recently I wrote a letter, put it in a newspaper that got some attention.
Right.
And Blue Cross Blue Shield decided to come through with my medicine again. And after 3.5 weeks of being on my medicine again, my heart is back to normal. And I can tell it. I can breathe. I can walk. I can go places. I can do what I need to do and want to do.
And Dr. Bertolet, the medicine specifically that we're talking about is mavacamten. It's, as I understand it, a relatively new medicine that seems to help in this specific case, HCM, hydrotrophic cardiomyopathy. I think most of us understand enough about insurance companies to know that when you have new medicines, they become really expensive, and sometimes insurance companies say, yes, we'll cover that, and sometimes they say no. Can you give us a little bit of background or maybe a little better understanding of what that process is like, I guess specific to Crystal's case and mavacamten?
Yes, and when we talk about patients that have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, is that we do now have national guidelines that we ought to follow when we treat this. And these national guidelines, they do start with conventional medications that may have been around for a while, that may be less expensive, and we try those medicines. And those medicines do work in some people, but when those medicines fail, then the options for a person then have been in the past a surgery where we cut out part of their heart muscle, or we actually do a procedure where we create a heart attack. But mavacamten is a drug that came out 3 years ago and is a brand new drug that actually actively treats this. And so as a doctor who does those procedures on people, since this drug came out 3 years ago, I've actually only done one of these procedures. And so this drug has been a miracle drug at relaxing the heart, making the heart be able to function appropriately again and give people back their lives.
So as a physician, you deal with insurance companies and you're trying to provide the best treatment, the best care for patients that you can. But you also have to recognize the financial piece that exists for patients if an insurance company says no. Sometimes it's easy for us to paint the insurance companies as the boogeyman, like the big bad man behind the curtain that just says no all the time. What's the rationale with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi not covering mavacamten, specifically as we were talking about in Crystal's case?
To be honest with you, I can't explain Blue Cross Blue Shield's position within our state. When we look at the Blue Crosses across the United States, all of them cover this medication. So this is unique to our state and unique to our Blue Cross of Mississippi. They've made a decision really almost to ignore this medicine, is that they don't even have it listed as part of a conversation that I can have with them. And the other issue that Blue Cross does is they put up a roadblock. And I'm okay with us having a conversation with them, but even despite us calling multiple times, I can't even get them on the phone to have a conversation to advocate for patients like Crystal. And so that ends up being the problem, is I can't even have the conversation. So they ignore that the drug even exists, and then they stonewall doctors trying to advocate on behalf of their patients. And that's really the issue, and it's unique to our state. And the problem is that if Mississippi is the number one leading state for cardiovascular death in the nation, why do we avoid talking about it with the insurers that choose to operate within our state?
So, Crystal, you said that initially mavacamten helped you, that trial period ran out. Recently you are back on it and you feel like you've kind of gained your life back. You can function again. What is the prognosis for you with regard to Blue Cross Blue Shield going forward about being able to continue on mavacamten?
I'm not sure. I tried to reorder my medicine this month and hit another roadblock and had to jump through hoops just to get it this month.
So this feels like something that's an ongoing battle for you on a month-to-month basis? We lost our feed with Crystal and with there we go. I lost you just for a second, Crystal. So does this feel like it's an ongoing thing that you're going to have to fight on a month-to-month basis just to maintain the medicine you're taking?
At this moment, to me, yes, sir. Next month, maybe it'll be easy peasy, but I'm not looking for it.
So what happens when you say you have to jump through hoops? You go to your pharmacy to try and fill your prescription, and then you're told, no, you can't get it? Is that how this works?
No, sir. They call me or I call them and I say, my prescription is up. And they're like, okay. And then they ask you, it's one of those pre-written mile-long questionnaires. You have to answer every month. And I do that. And then what I heard this month was, I'm sorry, your insurance does not cover that. And I said, no, they do. I got it last month. They covered it. And they said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but they're not covering it this month. So I hang up and I call my people here at North Mississippi Cardiology, and they help me get it again. I mean, it's frustrating.
Hold that thought if you don't mind. If the two of you are able, I'm going to hold you through the break, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on the other side. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, visiting with Crystal Reed and Dr. Barry Bertolet. We're back with you right after this.
Grab another cup of coffee and start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross, here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Wrapping up the 7 o'clock hour with you this morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. Crystal Reed is my guest. She is a Mississippi resident living with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And one of her physicians, Dr. Barry Bertolet, president of the, hold on, make sure that I get this right, the Mississippi chapter of the American College of Cardiology. Dr. Bertolet, we've got just a couple of minutes left this morning, and I'd love to hear your perspective on what do we do going forward, whether it's specific to mavacamten, this life-saving drug, as Crystal described it, for her condition, for HCM, or for other new drugs that are coming to the market that seem to have the effect that we're looking for in serious health issues and cases, but are not necessarily being recognized or made available through insurance plans and insurance companies?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I wish I could give you the perfect answer. But I would just say there needs to be a conversation, and there needs to be a conversation between insurance companies and then physicians that may have some expertise in the area that we're talking about. And so right now we're not allowed to have that conversation. The insurance companies aren't talking to the doctors that are the experts to try to get their perspective in that. And then more importantly, I think that the insurance companies themselves need to listen to their own advisors. And so with the case of mavacamten, the Blue Cross national advisors had said this drug needs to be approved and covered. And then our Blue Cross of Mississippi has opted not to even listen to their national advisors. So I think the best way is let us have a conversation. Let's talk about these. We understand that there's financial barriers, and I think that we want to be good stewards with the money as well. And then I think that we want to make sure the drug is available for the patients that need it. But importantly for us is that there are national guidelines. And when the national guideline calls for a drug that should be prescribed and everywhere else in the state is prescribed, and we're not able to do that in our state, then I think that we're letting our citizens down.
We're all about having a conversation here. That's the way I've tried to build this show. Let's talk about the issues and hear both sides. I will say, in kind of the idea of equal time, if there's anybody at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi that would like to have a further discussion about this on the air in a public forum, you have an open invitation. We would love to hear from you and hear your side of the story on this. Crystal, I'm curious, in the absence of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi being willing to let you get this drug, what would your out-of-pocket cost be if you had to pay for it on your own on a monthly basis?
I have no idea. I was told $7,000 a month, $100,000 a year. My husband was willing to sell our place and do what it took to get it.
Wow.
Give up our life savings.
Dr. Bertolet, is that experience unique for the cost of a medicine on a monthly basis to be that high, especially for a relatively new drug?
I'm going to say that in this particular situation, that is unique. but this is a drug that's developed for a rare disease. And then in order to allow or to encourage drug companies to even make drugs for rare diseases, is that across the national landscape, the federal government has allowed these companies to charge these higher prices in order to recoup their investment in the development of drugs for rare diseases. If we didn't do that, unfortunately, no drug would ever be developed for a rare disease.
Yeah.
And so we just would be treating common stuff commonly, and then everything else you would let people go away. But I think that's sort of the purpose of insurance, right? Is that insurance is there to back us up when we need them. And we pay those premiums, which are relatively high premiums that we all pay. Some months I don't use mine, and some months we do. But when we pay those premium amounts, then in return, we expect that when we need the insurance company to help us, if it's a $5 drug or a $5,000 drug or a $5,000 surgery, we expect the insurance company to back us up.
Dr. Bertolet, last thing for you quickly, we're almost out of time. How common is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy in Mississippi?
This is a relatively rare disease. There's probably less than 150 people across the state that have this, that are on medications. And so, fortunately, it's relatively rare.
Crystal, it's the Christmas season. We'll pray for a Christmas miracle that next month and the month after and the month after that and ongoing, you will be able to get the medicine that you need. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and thanks to both of you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. It's going to be a Merry Christmas for me.
Outstanding. Glad to hear that you're doing well right now. Crystal Reed of Maben, Mississippi, and Dr. Barry Bertolet with the American College of Cardiology, Mississippi chapter president. 8 o'clock hour on the way. We're back with you right after this.
You take a deep dive into the news and debates driving the day, all on your ride to work. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again.
I'm supposed to talk, Lance. You can't play a song like that and then expect me not to tap my foot and sing along. And
need a tambourine in the studio with you, man. Have a little hippie, you can put on. Yeah.
Oh, what a great song. Mornings of Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank, rooted in our community. So much good stuff that is happening at Community Bank. We're here for every part of your financial journey, looking to manage your personal finances. Our banking services make it simple, secure, and tailored to you. Ready to grow your business? We offer expert guidance and custom solutions to help your business thrive. Dreaming of a new home? Our mortgage specialists are here to make the process seamless, all designed with you in mind. We're more than just a bank. We're your partner for life's biggest moments. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. If you're just joining us, I hate that you missed the conversation that we just had. Dr. Barry Bertolet, a cardiologist here in Mississippi chapter president for the American try that one more time. The American College of Cardiology, and Crystal Reed. And I'm not going to recap the entire conversation, but man, it brings up some questions. It really does bring up some significant questions about the way insurance coverage works, not just everywhere, but specifically in Mississippi. If you missed the interview, Crystal Reed was a patient of Dr. Bertolet and other physicians, and she was diagnosed with hold on a second. I lost my notes. HCM, The CM is cardiomyopathy. Hydro. Hold on. Where is it? I'm going to get this right, Lance. Hypertrophic. Sorry, I was trying to say hydro something. I knew that wasn't right. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It is a condition in which the heart muscle thickens and restricts the flow of blood to other parts of the body as it pumps. And it leads to shortness of breath, fainting, fatigue, chest pain, and in more serious cases can lead to heart failure or even sudden cardiac death. And there is a relatively new drug on the market called mavacamten that helps with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And Blue Cross Blue Shield at the national level has offered guidance to physicians that this is a good drug to deal with HCM. In the past, Dr. Bertolet was telling us that HCM is a condition that has, in terms of treating it, has included open heart surgery with the removal of a portion of the heart so that that thickness goes away, so that blood can pump in and out as it needs to the rest of the body to make you function the way you're supposed to function. But Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi has denied Crystal, and I'm assuming others with a similar condition, the ability to get this drug as part of their insurance plan. And that's not entirely uncommon with insurance companies, especially with new drugs that are on the market. To me, the part of this story that makes it really, really unique and especially concerning in a state like Mississippi, where instances of cardiac health issues are the highest of any state in the entire country. Heart disease in Mississippi, not exactly a category you want to be leading in, but we are unfortunately in first place and have been for a long time. And so national guidance from Blue Cross Blue Shield is that this is a medicine that not only works but should be approved, and yet has not been approved in Mississippi. Crystal told us that once they discovered that she had HCM, she was placed into an 18-month clinical trial in which her health was restored to her pre-diagnosed state, which was good. She was able to function, to go about her daily life, to be around her family, to walk, to work in the yard, and on and on. And then when the clinical trial ended, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi said no more, and her health regressed quickly back to the place that she was before she started taking this medicine. I said I wasn't going to recap the entire interview, and here I am. And then after fighting with the insurance company and getting nowhere, she wrote an opinion piece, an op-ed, an editorial that ran in the newspaper, and all of a sudden Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi was willing to allow her to get this medicine under her insurance plan. And then she finished a month's supply of the medicine and needed the refill for the next month and was told she couldn't get it. And she had to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop. She said, you know, those forms you have to fill out when you go to the doctor where they ask about, like, your entire life's history. You're like, I just filled this out last time I was here. Why do I have to do it again? She was having to do that on a monthly basis. Said that she had not been able to get a straight answer about what it would cost in terms of out-of-pocket expense. Had been told $7,000 a month, had been told $100,000 a year, but never got a straight answer. And so at least for this month, she has the mavacamten prescription, and she is able to operate like a normal human being. should say a healthy human being. I have so many questions. Chief among them is why. Why is this so difficult for Crystal and others like Crystal? If not to get the prescription on a monthly basis, at least to get an answer or an explanation. Why is it that Dr. Bertolet can't get an answer, can't even get anyone on the phone with Blue Cross Blue Shield to get an explanation and to advocate on behalf of his patient? And why, and to me, this is the biggest why does Blue Cross Blue Shield at a national level say, yes, let's use this medicine? It is changing outcomes. And yet Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi is saying, no. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I said this in our last segment. I want to say it again now. If you work with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi, and from your perspective, there is more to tell of this story, I invite you to join us. I want to hear your side of the story. I want to understand your decision-making process on mavacamten, but also on other medicines where perhaps you say no. Is it just dollars and cents? Is it because of what a spreadsheet tells you? Is there fine print somewhere in an insurance policy that says, sorry, you're out of luck on this one? Is there a easily explainable, readily understandable reason for you denying this life-saving, potentially life-saving medicine for Crystal Reed and others like her? I welcome you to this forum. That's what we're about. We're about having conversations. Grab a cup of coffee, sit down, let's talk about it. Because it sounds to me like right now the silence is deafening. Lance, I think you were going to jump in a second ago.
I was just sharing that the price for mavacamten is extremely high, $89,000 to $90,000 per year, monthly around $7,350 per year. That seems to hold up in Europe as well, a little cheaper in China, but very expensive drug. Yeah, so but it reportedly has obviously done a lot of positive things for people like Crystal. So yeah, just wanted to share the cost. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, Thomas says it's because they're a for-profit company and that stuff's high. I understand that. Like, I recognize that. So are monthly insurance premiums. Right? I don't have the option of saying, nope, I'm not going to pay you my premium this month. You expect that money to be deposited into the account on the first of every month. So if I hold up my end of the bargain, why is it you have the opportunity to go, nah, we're not going to hold up our end of the bargain this month, but you still expect me to pay that premium every month? Back with you right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center, look for delays on Highway 49 in Rankin County. The two right lanes are blocked southbound at Old Highway 49. Also look for some congestion 20 eastbound past State Street. In Brandon, congestion government at College Street. This update brought to you by River Trust Federal Credit Union. Call today to take advantage of their limited time certificate of deposit special of 4.27% annual percentage yields on 30 and 60 months. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm Michael, an Entergy lineman, and I'm on an outage fighting mission for my home state. Our Superpower Mississippi plan will help reduce outages by 50%. You'll see energy teams installing stronger poles, trimming more trees, and using smarter technology that restores power faster if there's an outage. Entergy is strengthening the grid to meet your growing energy needs while keeping rates well below the national average. Learn how new, large customers like Amazon are lowering costs for you at EnergyMississippi.com/superpowerms.
Hey, can you... This is Eric Clark with First South Farm Credit. At First South, we specialize in rural land financing. Whether it's a large tract or 10-acre home site outside the city limits, we offer very competitive interest rates, flexible terms, and quick turnaround. Let me customize a loan package for you. Please call me, Eric Clark, at 601-898-8540. That's 601-898-8540. Or find us online at firstsouthland.com.
Here's little Annie Ravenstein, Corey Ravenstein's daughter, and the 5th generation at Juniker Jewelry Company.
My favorite jewelry store in the world is Juniker Jewelry. At Juniker's, I come out and help to escape from school. I like serving customers and cleaning the jewelry before my dad catches me. And one day, I made my first sale to a woman. Well, it was my grandmother though, but hey, who cares? It's still a customer. So she wanted to look at a pair of hoop earrings. She has a ton of them. I remember that she wanted some golden medium kind of size hoops with diamonds in them. I took them out, put them on top of the glass counter, and I let her play around for a little bit. She found just the right pair, and it was golden. She liked some silver ones too, but then again, she had a bunch of silver ones, so she went with gold. We have a ton of diamond earrings at Juniker's. At Juniker Jewelry, they can make them a lot bigger. I love jewelry.
Juniker Jewelry Company, celebrating 80 years as Mississippi's direct diamond importer. 1485 Highland Colony Parkway and JunikerJewelry.com.
This is Brian Haydad with Sports Talk Mississippi, the Magnolia State's #1 sports show. Get the show wherever you get your podcast.
From Duck Hill to Alligator, Mississippians start their day the right way. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Good to be with you this morning. Thanks for joining us. C-Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. While Blue Cross has some responsibility here, the true villain is the drug company. No drug should cost that much ever. It is pure greed. Paul and Hernando says, why can't the pharmaceutical manufacturer come down on this price? It's an option.
Well, there's an issue with that because of there's some disclaimers on there that state that it possibly could cause heart issues along with solving them. So there's a warning that it seemingly has something to do with the high cost of that.
Well, there's that, and there is also in this case for Bristol Myers Squibb, the acquisition cost. Mm-hmm. The cost to get a drug to market is staggeringly high. Bristol Myers Squibb bought this drug, originally developed by Myocardia Inc., for $13.1 billion in 2020. On top of that, they paid another $450 million to a secondary company, and the centerpiece of the deal was mavacamten, this drug to deal with chronic heart disease. So when you've got $13.5 billion wrapped up in the acquisition of this drug, and it's not something that's used, I mean, it's not like penicillin, where it's like just common and everybody needs it, and you're going to sell millions and millions and millions of doses of it every single month. Or, pick your drug that you've seen advertised on television. If you have a small usage amount and massive to market costs, it kind of dictates that it has to be really expensive. That's kind of where you are with that. I mean, good grief, $13.5 billion. You do the research and development, you have the acquisition cost, you go through all the clinical trials and pay tons of money for that. You have to advertise the drug, you have to distribute the drug all over the world. I mean, there are a lot of costs associated with getting a specialty drug in particular to market. And so, while a lot of times the answer is Blame it on the drug company. Blame it on the insurance company. Let's be smart enough to understand that there are costs associated with drug production, drug manufacturing, drug marketing, research and development, all of the things that go into getting a drug into that pill bottle so that you can take that pill and it makes you better, that cost money. Like that's just the reality of drug manufacturing. And I understand that Big Pharma is not all good, but Big Pharma also is responsible for a lot of the life-saving drugs that we rely on today. What is the value of the saving of human life? C-Spire text line. 601-879-4395. Same way with R-CHOP chemo regimen. One of those 5 is $38,000, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi wouldn't pay for a PET scan without a CAT scan first. Cost me more money when docs always wanted the PET scan to show NHL cancer. Paul and Hernando says, why would you pay that much if you knew there wasn't that much of a market for it? Well, Paul, in the case of mavacamten, the conversation specifically that we're having today, there is a market for it. And Blue Cross Blue Shield and United Healthcare and Medicaid all approve the use of this drug. It's just Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi, in Crystal's case, and I'm assuming in cases similar to hers, where they have said no. And Dr. Bertolet pointed out that the cost of these drugs is not entirely uncommon when you're talking about a specialty drug for a disease that affects a very small portion of the population. Because the research and the development and the distribution of and the marketing and the awareness campaign and all of those things cost a lot of money. Brandon from Cleveland says it's always about the money.
Well, it's also April 28th, 2022 was when the FDA approved it. So you haven't had a whole lot of time to earn back that $13 billion yet either. So,
and look, there's a question that comes in a second ago. It says, if you've never had a loved one be denied coverage or be denied the drug that they need that could potentially save their life, it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around the helpless feeling that goes along with that. On a much smaller scale, I've seen a family member that needed a specific drug that the insurance company said no on, and we were left going, well, what do we do? If this is the drug that he needs, we got to figure out how to get it. And if that means paying out of pocket for it, then so be it. We're going to figure out a way to pay out of pocket for it. Might not be able to afford it, but we'll do it. One way or another, we'll do it. And that's what Crystal said as well. Didn't want to do it, didn't feel like she should have to do it, but they were going to do it, and yet still couldn't get a straight answer. Whew. Sue says, if you got $13 billion in the bank to step out on a limb on the R&D that someone else has done, says you're a mighty profitable business. Profit is okay, but this is the only markets that are making those gross margin percentages. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to dog on capitalism, you're probably in the wrong spot. I'm not going to be mad at a company that has been successful. And Bristol Myers Squibb is a company that has been very, very successful. I'm not mad at them for that. Could that drug or another drug cost less than it does? Yeah, probably so. Could their profit margins be a little slimmer than they are? Yeah, probably so.
I'd like to interject one thing here and make it quick.
That's not my job to poo-poo on capitalism.
Yeah, the best thing we could do here is just open up the United States of America as one large pool. You heard Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi, and others have not approved, or Mississippi wouldn't, but others have. There's part of your problem there. It's just not efficient. And two, you're limiting the pool, which in insurance we know, the larger the pool, the less the risk. That generally drives costs down. So it's a pretty simple solution. Even Mike Cheney and I have talked about that. And if you want to drive costs down, one of the easy ways, which is probably difficult, honestly, but the biggest swath with a brush you could do is just open up the whole country to underwriting as one large group and then segment out the ones that you have problematic issues with. That would drive costs down and offer coverage to many more people.
Yeah. And maybe we need to check in with Mike Cheney on this and just have a big picture conversation about insurance companies and the way they operate and the way they approve. And I mean, look, we had a conversation last week with Farm Bureau about the health plan that they've rolled out. They have an out-of-state Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arkansas that is administering the health plan for Mississippi Farm Bureau because it made the most sense. So there's a story I want to get to when we come back involving Chinese surrogacy. This is a wild and sickening story. I'll talk about that next. A Chinese billionaire who is fathering multiple children in the United States through surrogate mothers and then trying to bring them back to China. And the voice of reason in this story was a judge in California, of all places. We're back with you right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
That's how it happened, living life by the drive.
From the Seabrook Morning, Mississippi. You're starting your day off right. Welcome to Mornings with Richard Cross here on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Ole Miss will host its first ever college football playoff game on Saturday. Sports Talk Mississippi will be at the library on the square in Oxford on Thursday and Friday, where you will hear from administrators, former players, and more as we get you ready for one of the biggest games in Ole Miss football history. I was talking with somebody last night, said there is not an argument. This is the biggest game in Ole Miss football history. Our coverage is brought to you by Pearl River Resort, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and Southern hospitality. Also, something that you can put on the calendar. Santa will be working around the clock this Christmas, and he'll be listening to Super Talk, a Mississippi Christmas with Steve Azar. Returns right here on Super Talk Mississippi starting at 6 p.m. on December 23rd. Steve will play hours and hours of Christmas classics, tunes from Mississippi artists, and even a couple of holiday tunes on his guitar. Plus, you can watch the Yule log and listen to the music on Super Talk TV. It's a Mississippi Christmas with Steve Azar, brought to you by Agrigold.com, Covington County Hospital, and Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch. By the way, a secondary tip of the cap to a Mississippi Christmas with Steve Azar. Obviously, Steve's put in a ton of work on this and does a phenomenal job with it. Will East, our program director behind the scenes, works in conjunction with Steve on putting this together and pulls a lot of the music and a lot of the clips that you hear and just does a phenomenal job in scripting what from 6 p.m. on the 23rd until 6 a.m. on the 26th. So I'll let you do the math. It's like 48, 60 hours of programming there, something like that. Anyway, so tip of the cap to Will and to Steve Azar also. All right, this is the story that I mentioned. It's in the Wall Street Journal. Was there a couple of days ago when it was published. I think it's worth a read. It starts like this. Inside a closed Los Angeles courtroom, something wasn't right. Clerks working for a family court judge Amy Pellman were reviewing routine surrogacy petitions when they spotted an unusual pattern. The same name again and again and again. A Chinese billionaire was seeking parental rights to at least 4 unborn children, and the court's additional research showed that he had already fathered or was in the process of fathering at least 8 more, all through surrogates. When Pellman, Judge Amy Pellman, called Zhu Bo in for a confidential hearing in the summer of 2023, he never entered the courtroom. He is the maker of fantasy video games, living in China, and he appeared via video speaking through an interpreter. He said he hoped to have 20 or so U.S.-born children through surrogacy, boys, because they're superior to girls, to one day take over his business. Several of his kids were being raised by nannies in nearby Irvine, California, as they awaited paperwork to travel to China. He had not yet met the children, he told the judge, because he had been busy with work. The judge was alarmed. Surrogacy was a tool to help build families, but what Shu was describing didn't seem like parenting. Judge Pellman denied his request for parentage, normally quickly approved for the intended parents of a baby born through surrogacy. But then that left the children that he had paid for to be born in legal limbo. This can't just be the brainchild of a single billionaire in China that is looking for heirs to one day run the company that he has built. We have been told by politicians primarily and others that there are schemes in which people come to the United States. It's the conversation about birthright citizenship, give birth to babies in the United States and then go back to their home countries, but the children have American citizenship. Or they felt like they wouldn't be deported if they had a child in the United States. But this is something different. I'm assuming that surrogacy programs are not widespread in China. There's a really interesting sub-conversation that Joe Rogan and some others have explored about the future of China with population decline. Lance, you read everything. I bet you've read some about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird situation, isn't it? I mean, it almost feels like a baby factory in some instance, and then I'm just happy that the judge saw something was odd here. I mean, that just really is off the wall. But, also with the one-child policy that existed for so long in China, I'm like you. I don't believe this is the first instance where this has happened. It's just maybe the first we've heard of.
So what about this guy? The story says some Chinese parents inspired by Elon Musk's 14 known children pay millions in surrogacy fees to hire women in the U.S. to help them build families of jaw-dropping size. Xu calls himself China's first father and is known in China as a vocal critic of feminism. On social media, his company said he has more than 100 children born through surrogacy in the United States. Another wealthy Chinese executive hired U.S. models and others as egg donors to have 10 girls with the aim of one day marrying them off to powerful men, according to people close to that executive's education company. If you care for children at all, this is one of the most disgusting stories you've heard. The United States certainly has its problems. That list is long and distinguished. But we place a value in the United States. Hold on a second. At least half the country places a value in the United States on children that much of the world does not place on them. You know why I hesitated when I said that. It's hard to argue that you place a great deal of value on children if you support late-term abortion. I have trouble making those two things dovetail. But a young child in its innocence growing up is something that I think most Americans see as an incredibly beautiful thing. They don't see childbirth as transactional in nature. I think most of us in Mississippi would agree with that, at the very least. Start speaking on behalf of those in California or Nevada or New York, and I guess I could get myself into trouble in a hurry. But I think most of us in Mississippi see a great deal of value. And look, surrogacy, though not the traditional way that we think of parents having children, can be a beautiful thing. You allow natural childbirth for parents who don't otherwise have the ability to have children on their own, but want to be parents, want to raise children. And it can be an incredibly beautiful thing. Certainly is not for everyone. I'm not speaking to any moral or ethical decisions of that. I am simply saying a husband and a wife that want to have a child but do not have the ability otherwise, who use surrogacy as their means to a child, can really be a beautiful and a special thing. But the idea that a foreign national will be using surrogate mothers in the United States to have upwards of a dozen children, hopefully boys, simply so he can bring them back to China to work, that's disgusting, man. You want to read the entire story for yourself. It's from the Wall Street Journal. It's published on December 13th. We're back right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center, look for delays on Highway 49 in Rankin County. The two right lanes are blocked southbound at Old Highway 49. Also look for some congestion 20 eastbound past State Street. In Brandon, congestion government at College Street. This update brought to you by River Trust Federal Credit Union. Call today to take advantage of their limited time certificate of deposit special of 4.27% annual percentage yields on 30 and 60 months. Federally insured by NCUA.
Callaway's after Christmas sale starts now. Final markdown, all Christmas 50% off. Permanent Christmas trees, wreaths, garlands, angels, nativities, ornaments, ribbons, and much more. All Christmas is 50% off, no exclusions. Enjoy after Christmas prices before Christmas. Callaway's has a nice selection of poinsettias along with fresh cut Christmas trees, all 50% off. This is Brent Callaway. Since 1954, Callaway's has been family owned and operated. Callaway's has a large selection of your favorite trees, shrubs, and color plants. We have a large selection of ceramic pots, all sizes, all colors, all on sale. Callaway's has large rolls of pine straw, and we offer quantity pricing. Callaway's after Christmas sale starts now. Final markdown. All Christmas is 50% off, no exclusions. Permanent Christmas trees, wreaths, garlands, angels, nativities, ornaments, ribbons, and much more. All Christmas, 50% off, no exclusions. Enjoy the after Christmas prices before Christmas. Callaway's Gladstad on Calhoun Station Parkway, south of Germantown High.
At Key Constructors, our mission is to build a legacy that will stand the test of time through hard work, dedication, and pursuing excellence. Key Constructors is a heavy civil construction company, a leader in the bridge construction world. Our goal is to provide a positive work environment for you to grow personally and in your career. We are proud of who we are and what we do, making it happen one bridge at a time. Come join our team of Black Label Bridge Builders. Check out Key Constructors on Facebook and other social media platforms and keyconstructors.com.
Now through Christmas, Game Room Gallery is offering the lowest prices on pool tables. At Game Room Gallery, you'll find only the finest slate bed pool tables featuring top brands like Brunswick, Olhausen, Rasson, and Plankenhide. Whether you're looking for new or used pool tables, unbeatable deals on pool cues, or expert recovers and repairs, Game Room Gallery has it all. Call today at 601-853-7777. That's 601-853-7777, or visit us at 660 Ridgewood Road Extension in Ridgeland. Don't miss out on these holiday specials.
The holidays are here, and Sip Outdoors in Gluckstadt is your one-stop shop for this season. Find Christmas deals on all your favorites: Benelli shotguns, First Light, and Drake gear, and boots built for the farm from Ariat and Extra Tough. Stock up on feed with the lowest prices in town, and shop apparel from Southern Marsh, Burlebo, and more. Perfect Christmas gifts are gearing up for duck season. Find us right behind Crystals and across the Fleetway in Gluckstadt. Let us outfit your journey this season at Sip Outdoors.
Hey, hey, Mississippi. Ho, Mississippi. This is Steve Azar, and it's our favorite time of year. Starting at 6 p.m., December 23rd, SuperTalk Mississippi and I are going to bring you a Mississippi Christmas. Elvis, Charlie Pride, Faith Hill, B.B. King, Jimmy Buffett, and so many more. You'll hear them all, plus great Christmas stories. Our show is brought to you by Agrigold.com, Covington County Hospital, and Mississippi Attorney General Len Fitch. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Want to keep warmer this winter and cooler next summer and save money? Delta Utilities can help with generous rebates of up to $400 on new energy-efficient tankless water heaters, heating systems, and more. You can have a more energy-efficient home or workplace and save money on your utility bills all year long. It's simple. Visit deltautilities.com to learn more and to qualify for your rebates today. That's deltautilities.com.
Tune in to Good Things with me, Rebecca Turner. It's Mississippi's Radio Happy Hour, weekdays from 2 to 3 p.m. right here on SuperTalk Jackson 97.3.
Reaching across the state and across the aisle. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And you feel real hurt. Come on over.
Genteel is the official apparel provider of SuperTalk Mississippi. Check out their website online, genteelapparel.com, and check out the great holiday deals that they've got going right now. Genteel is a fantastic company that was started and is based here in Mississippi. Good people, and man, their popularity and their growth is just off the charts in the last decade. Really a cool Mississippi success story. The website is genteelapparel.com. That is genteelapparel.com. And right now, if you go to their website, You can get free ground shipping on all of your orders. And if you order right now, they should still be able to get it to you by Christmas. So check it out.
Hey, I'll guarantee you one thing as well, that whatever you put on of Gentile, you're going to look better than you did before you had it. It even makes me look better. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I love it. Man, they are all across the Southeast and really across the country. And if you're looking for like corporate wear, you want golf shirts, but not golf shirts that look like you got them at Bargain Basement and slapped a logo on them, like good-looking golf shirts with your company's logo on it. They've got a custom embroidery department and can really help you with that. Something that we've done at SuperTalk, and great folks, really, really good people. GentileApparel.com is the website. I love a good back and forth with Scott Jennings on CNN. They're always entertaining. His most recent back and forth with Bakari Sellers. Bakari Sellers says, so there's a couple of things about Trump's base. One, he ain't going to lose it. Two, it's non-transferable, okay? To which Scott Jennings replied, what two-term president was transferable? Who did Barack Obama's popularity transfer to? Nobody. And in fact, the Democratic Party base across the country was decimated. Reagan transferred to Bush, and he was a one-term president. Sellers says, that's not true. To which Scott Jennings replies, who did it transfer to? Who did Clinton's transfer to? Nobody. Bakari Sellers says, you do realize Hillary Clinton got more votes than Donald Trump, right? Scott Jennings says, I know. Boy, she looked great in the White House, didn't she? Oh, whoops. Cracks me up. Cracks me up. Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Coming in for a playoff game this weekend. Still trying to figure out where to get a vehicle that is going to be a Christmas gift, or not a Christmas gift at all. You just need a new vehicle. Previously owned vehicle. The selection that they have on the lot right now is phenomenal. F-150s, F-250s, Expeditions in a number of trims, Ford Rangers. The newly designed Ford Ranger pickup is awesome looking. And I have a special spot in my heart for the Ford Ranger. When I was a senior in high school, I got a 1999 Ford Ranger XLT, black, extended cab. I put Wild Country tires on it, put a toolbox and a bed liner on it. It was four-wheel drive, 4.3-liter. No, that's not right. That's not. It was the, I think it was the 3-liter V6 in it. Man, I was proud of that truck. Did you know they put the trimmer package and the Raptor package on Ford Rangers now? Really sharp looking. And if you're in the market for an F-150 right now at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota, you can get 60 months, 0% financing, and a $1,000 rebate. It's rare that you get the rebate on top of the low financing, but you can get that right now at Belk Ford. Give them a call or stop by and see them. Highway 6 West in Oxford, belkford.net, oxfordtoyota.com. Tell them that I sent you, please. I would appreciate that very much, and I promise you they will take good care of you at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. Had a friend the other day who just took advantage of that low financing and needed a new vehicle before the year ended so that he could fully depreciate the vehicle in the coming year, and Belk Ford took care of him. They will you as well. One last thing for you this morning. Let's see. What is it? We might not have time for one last thing. Oh, yeah, we do. Here you go. Gas prices are dropping almost everywhere. It's pretty good news if you got to go to the pump. And AAA tells us that more people are traveling this holiday season than ever before. In 38 states, the average price of gas below $3 a gallon. 23 states, it's below $2.75 a gallon. In 7 states, the average price is below $2.50 a gallon. And in some places, you can even find gas below $2 a gallon. The national average for a gallon of regular gas has reached a multi-year low, its lowest price since March of 2021. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday morning. Hope you have an outstanding day. For Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi, presented by Community Bank.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.